Hello, Manong George here. Welcome to our channel. And today we have a very special guest.
Hi, I'm Cherry and I'm a UK nurse and currently enrolled in a master's program. Doon. Kasi syempre naman sa Pilipinas pahirapan mag-aral. So if you're someone na gusto talagang mag-aral, then definitely this one is for you. Ayaw pa ba tayo kung libre na? Ito na nga, mag-aaral na nga lang tayo, di ba?
Hi, my name is Jabel, and I would just like to say that coming here to the course really helps me gain confidence to take my exam, especially practicing with the equipment and materials. It feels like I'm at the OSCE Center taking my exam.
Basically, unang-una sa lahat, ang daming magagalit. Pero unfortunately, sa mga taong graduate before 2022, if you consider UK equivalency of ng degree natin, yung Philippine bachelor's degree natin is hindi equivalent sa UK bachelor's degree dito if you graduate before 2022. And I think this is because kulang tayo ng number of years in education curriculum. So, ibig sabihin, nung anyone before 2022, wala tayong K-12. So, kulang tayo ng 2 years, wala tayong senior high, So, in equivalency, sabi nila, you need to have extension, kumbaga. So, pagdating dito, when they assess your degree, sasabihin nila, oh, actually, yung bachelor's degree mo ng Pilipinas is equivalent lang ng higher national diploma dito. So, they call it a level 5. Whereas yung bachelor's degree naman is a level 6.
Manong knows best. Hi, Manong George po. And I am a Filipino nurse dito sa UK for over 10 years. Now, kung katulad ko kayo na nagpapadala buwan-buwan sa Pilipinas, might I suggest to you, TapTapSend. TapTapSend is free, mabilis, maaasahan, and if you use our code on your first padala, Pinoy UK, you get 15 pounds top up sa iyong unang padala. So ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Send money to your loved ones, use TapTapSend, and use our code, Pinoy UK.
So, unang-una, iniisip ko kung parang before I applied, iniisip ko muna kung ano ba yung gusto ko. Like, ano bang career path ang gusto ko. So, alam mo naman dito sa UK, ang daming specialization, ang daming parang pathways. So, isa na doon yung parang leadership, yung education, yung practitioner. So, iniisip ko, ano ba talaga yung path para sa akin? So, currently, I work as a research nurse and it's very difficult minsan na parang to expand. So, ang thinking madalas ng iba is, kasi research nurse ako, so basically, baka pwede ako mag-aral ng within research. Pero, if I were to suggest to anyone, parang think about the bigger picture. So, kasi pag nag-aaral ka, mag-graduate ka. And when you graduate, parang it's a start of a beginning. So, ano bang makukuha mo pag nag-aral ka ng master's degree? So, inisip ko, if kukunin ko is something about related to research, nandun na ako nagtatrabaho na ako ng research. So, wala nang maidagdag na knowledge or anything. Kasi, kung ano mang matutunan ko within research, andun na ako. Yun na yung trabaho ko. So, I thought about the next step. So, I looked into things na pwede kong magamit yung research and at the same time, ano yung parang pathway sa akin after ng research. So, lumalabas dun yung education, lumalabas yun yung leadership and management. And then, I try to talk to people. Ano ba yung kinukuha nila? Basically, I try to talk to the higher bands. So, when I applied, I was band 6 at that time. So, nagtatanong ako sa band 7s, ano ba yung mga courses na kinukuha nila to be a band 7, or yung mga practitioner naman, ano ba yung mga courses or pathway na kinukuha nila. So, I looked into it, and then I was interested in leadership and management. Kasi for research, wala kaming practitioner role. So, yung ACP na tinatawag nila wasn't applicable for me. Although, maraming movement na ilabas yon, pero hindi pa siya nangyayari. So, I worked and looked into leadership and management. So, yun yung first na iniisip ko. And then, after looking into what I wanted or the path that I wanted, so something related to leadership, next is naghanap ako ng mga schools. So basically, in finding a school, iniisip ko, ano ba yung pwede sa akin? Ano ba yung fit sa schedule ko? How far is the university? Yung mga ganun. Ano ba yung setup ng pagtuturo nila? Is it gonna be hybrid? Is it gonna be face-to-face? Is it gonna be online na platform? So, on this parang reflection, syempre, kakausapin mo din yung mga yung mga higher bands or line manager mo and say, I'm interested in this one. Do you think pwede pa to sa schedule? Or if mag-aaral ako ng ganito, lalo na pag face-to-face classes, are you okay for me to go off for a couple of weeks or, mga set study days, tapos may magka-cover ba sa role ko? So these are the things that we needed to consider. Tapos pag nahanap mo na yung parang university mo, the next step is to really contact the university. Kasi obviously for me, as an international graduate, sabi ko nga, mahirap, hindi equivalent yung bachelor's degree sa UK degree. So ang difficulty dun is every university has different parang basis of equivalency. Although, sabi nga, H&D tayo, pero parang after nun, may mga requirements sila if you're an H&D international bachelor's. So parang yung ibang university, hinahanap nila foundation degree. Yung ibang university naman, hinahanap nila pre-master's degree. Or yung ibang university, hinahanap nila na parang master's degree sa Philippines, pero sa 4 na university ng Philippines lang. So, yung 4 na yun is parang UST, UP, LaSalle, Ateneo. Tapos yung equivalency doon pa, like, di ba dito pag bachelor's degree, may upper second, lower second, may first class. So, yung mga ganon, depende pa yon sa GPA mo nung nag-master's degree ka sa 4 universities na yon. So, definitely, you need to speak with the university stating, I'm a graduate from the Philippines, ito yung mga educational background ko. I graduated or since siguro ako 2011, yung mga ganon. And eto pa, if you've graduated in 2011, more than 10 years ago, na wala kang pag-aaral in between those, makaka-affect din yun sa equivalency mo. So you really need to think it through. Tapos, obviously, if you talk to the university, they will give you advice on what pathway you can do. So, yung iba, sasabihin, okay, for you, in this case, kailangan mo ng pre-master's course. Or, okay, in this case, kailangan mo ng foundational course. So, if you are to choose ACP, yung mga friends ko na nag-go through ng ACP or yung advanced practitioner pathway, sa kanila naman, may iba na pinagpapagawa sila ng extra maths and English. Kasi sabi nila hindi daw equivalent yung maths and English natin sa Pilipinas, or there's no proof na equivalent yung maths and English natin sa Pilipinas dito sa UK. So you need to do additional works. Pero those degrees or yung parang extra degree courses would last or cover for 6 to 1 year.
Manong knows best.
After nun, if nakausap mo na yung university, tapos nag-agree na kayo na okay, kasi yung iba palang masters, university na nag-o-offer ng masters, merong iba na depende sa years of experience mo or type of experience mo, pwede ka nilang i-accept. So, example, if gusto mo ng leadership and management, kunwari, nag-masters ako ng leadership and management sa University of Essex. So, sa kanila, pwede ka mag-assess ng experience mo and they would say, okay, pwede ka namin bigyan ng slot for application kasi given in your parang CV or background, meron kang experience in leadership kasi nga band 6 ka or band 7 ka, yung gano'n. So, if na okay na lahat, na natanong mo na settled na pwede ka na mag-apply, then the next thing would be to find 2 people for references. So, ito yung academic reference na tinatawag nila. Iba pa yung employer reference na tinatawag nila. So, yung academic reference is anyone who, na naging teacher mo or nagturo sa'yo or mentor mo in related to this course or sa previous degree na kinuha mo, and then they need to give out a reference na kaya mo to study at that level. And then also you need to think about IELTS. So if you have lived within the UK for the 2 years, so hindi na kailangan ng IELTS exam kasi syempre nga pumasok tayo dito with an IELTS exam tsaka score. So they accept that one. Pero meron ding iba na parang uncertain doon. Pero it depends on the university. Tapos yung application process, meron silang mga tanong na parang essay. So mostly bakit ito yung course na pinili mo? Anong makakatulong ng course na to sa progression mo in your career, or how you would use it in your future directions, yung mga ganon. And then after that one, they will review it, and at the same time, kailangan din nila ng employer reference, and if mapili ka, they will invite you for an interview.
Manong knows best.
Okay na?
Once napasa mo yung interview, ang pag-uusapan naman is yung funding. So, yung ibang trust, like big trust, swerte sila, like yung kung saan ako, kasi ang dami nilang funding. So, you can ask your education team if merong funding sila. Tapos, meron ding website sa government, lalo na pag NHS ka, na they fund for master's degree. Pero normally, kasi nga public funds to, you need to be an ILR before you can have it. Yung sa NHS naman, as long as you stay within the trust sa agreed doon sa learning contract mo, that's okay. You don't have to be an ILR. Tapos meron ding options from Health Education England na nagbibigay sila ng fees, lalo na pag ACP or yung parang mga leadership and management or genomics, meron silang funding for a master's degree. If ikaw naman yung tao na ayaw mo ng full master's degree kasi gusto mo lang sumubok muna para tingnan kung kaya ko ba to, ang tagal ko nang hindi nag-aral, anong gagawin ko. Yun. You can do a ladderized master's degree as well. So, merong tayong tinatawag na PG cert, tapos for 1 year, then after another year, merong PG diploma, and then on the 3rd year, meron tayong full master's degree after completion of thesis.
Manong knows best.
Yung sa akin, yung sa Essex, 2 years siya. So, it's a Master's of Science in Healthcare Management. Tapos, 2 years siya. Yung iba, na kaklase ko, merong nag 1 year lang. Tapos, yung iba, may nag-diploma lang na 1.5. Pero ako, full 2 years. Tapos, yung pangalawa naman, na it's a ladderized MST. So, yun yung 3 years.
Okay.
Kasi yung sa Essex online ako noon. Kasi it was something that works for me. Kasi grabe yung demand sa trabaho ko at that time. May minamanage ako ng tao, tapos nag-clinical pa ako. So, the only thing that would work for me is really online. So, hindi sila nagre-require ng kagandahan doon kasi you don't have to be there physically. You don't have to travel. Tapos, yung mga lectures, hindi ka required to be there. Ang lahat ng lectures pag online is all recorded. So, pwede mo siyang mapanood at your free time. So, yun yung kinagandahan doon. And ang requirements lang, as long as mapasa mo yung mga requirements na final submission tsaka yung in-between, yung tinatawag lang sa Pilipinas ng midterms, okay yun. Tapos, madalas yung requirements nila, depende sa module, pero madalas essays, 3,000 words, 5,000 words, 2,500. If hindi naman essay, mga presentation or yung mga business case, yung mga ganun. Kasi nga yung inaaral ko noon is leadership and management. During nag-aaral ako, naging band 7 ako. Tapos I was managing a team. Pero the most fruitful return was when I became a band 8. Kasi yung mga questions doon, labanan, as in madugong labanan, was about strategic management. So lahat ng pinag-aralan ko, lahat ng terms na hindi ko alam before, na ilabas ko dun sa interview. So parang meron akong edge sa iba na hindi nag-aral ng strategic management. But I'm not saying na you should follow this path. And again, I think you need to check or reflect kung ano ba yung path na gusto mong i-take.
Always remember, Manong knows.
Manong knows best, put your worries to rest when staying in the United Kingdom. Manong knows best.